Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Welcome, welcome. See a lot of guests here. Says the Gemara, only enough Mem Gimel Amid Aleph. Omarulo. Shmoina minute treifis nemer loy l'Moshe b'Sinai. So if you recall, yesterday we had 18 treifis. It's the whole thing. So what we could do is we could break them down into categories. There are 8 different types of categories. There's nekuva, upsuka, netula, v'chasura, krua, udrusa, nefula, shvura. These are the 8 categories that we're going to go into for a second. In a second. La'puke lekusa. Mamish rhymes. Nekuva, psuka, netula, chasura. La'puke lekusa. If this all comes besides this one bad kidney that has a bunch of pus in it, that's no good. That's not in the 18 treifas. So this is what we have to do for a second. We're just going to step out of here. These are the 8 categories. Nekuva, netula. Nekuva has a little puncture wound. Netula, it's removed completely. Krua is ripped. Nefula, it fell. Psuka, it separated. Chasur is missing. Drusa, it was attacked by a wolf or a lion. Shvura is broken. So nekuva we saw yesterday. This is the 8th of nekuva. You have a little puncture hole on the veshet, in the brain, the membrane in the brain, the heart, the lung, the intestine, the kavas, the stomach, the ma'ayim, the intestines, a keres apnimis. That we have to see what it is. It's one of the 4 stomachs. The hemsis ubezakaisis that we saw, it's different also from the stomachs. They're back to back. The hemsis ubezakaisis. So if you have a puncture wound in any of those, it's a treifa. Psuka is like when the gargeres is severed, and nifsaka shedra is when the spinal cord, the chut shedra, not the shedra, the chut shedra, the spinal cord is severed. What's drusa is drusa, nefula is nefula. Here's drusa. Drusa is when an animal attacks. It's number 8 on the list. And netula means it's completely missing. So we had a few things. We had when the entire liver goes missing, because if there's a little part of it, we'll see how big, even a small amount, it's going to regenerate. Gluda, we said, means that all the skin fell off. And the Book of the Atma is that ball that goes into the bearing, no, what do we call it? Bearing? Socket, into the socket. The ball in the socket, if it pops out, and it's also the ligament is severed, that's a netula. It's completely out. So what's chasura? So we had a lung that's missing a part. Nechtechu ragleh markuva, from one of the bends in the animal and up, and we had a few of its vertebrae are missing, and also charusa b'deyada means that it shriveled up like a dry date, one of his lungs, because a person scared him. He got frightened and his lungs shriveled up for good. Krua, what's krua? It's ripped. You have the keres, one of the stomachs that got ripped, and basar chayfer and the flesh that covers most of the keres. What's broken, Rabbi? Anybody want to guess? Broken? Nishtabru roiv tzloyeseh, most of its ribs are broken. You have the simanim, the trachea and the esophagus shenidaldalu, that became detached. Or nekrotzela, one, not all its, before we said broken ribs, over here it's one rib that was uprooted from the source, and gulgul shenichbasa is a skull that was bashed in. How do you say bashed in nice English? Crushed. Oh. And this comes to exclude number 14, loksa b'kulya, which is this, that one of the kidneys, although you could actually remove a kidney, the animal will live, but not if it's a diseased kidney. A diseased kidney will kill the animal. All right, so now we just did 3 lines. Omar Chia Barav. Shmoyne treifa is Yeshim Rekuba. Yeah, I said. Yeah. Valid. I 100% said it. There's nothing to check. I said it. Omar Chia Barav. I don't care what he says. I know what I said. So b'dafka, I'm not going back. Omar Chia Barav. Fine, I'll say it, and the editor will show that I said it twice. La'puke lekusa. Mamish rhymes. The kuva psuka netula chasura. La'puke lekusa. La'fuke lekusa de rochesh bar papa. This comes to include. This comes to exclude the diseased kidney of Rochesh Bar Papa. I think I showed the picture twice here. Omar Chia Barav. What?
You didn't say Rochesh Bar Papa.
I didn't say Rochesh Bar Papa. I said Lekusa.
You mentioned how Ryan is.
Lavugi Lekusa the Rochesh Bar Papa. Omar Chia Barav. Shmoyne Trevis Ish bin Akuva. They'll be really embarrassing if I didn't say Rochesh Bar Papa. Shmoyne Trevis Ish bin Akuva. There are eight different puncture wounds, tiny little wounds that destroy an animal, make it a treifa, and if it has one of these, you cannot eat the animal. In Toimar Teisha, perhaps you'll say there's a ninth. Which one? Mara. Mara is the gallbladder. It looks something like this. In a small animal, it looks something like this. I'll show you soon what it looks like in a large animal. You're not going to believe it. It's a serious matzav. In a human being, I didn't look it up, I heard that it only produces about 2 teaspoons or so of the gallbladder juice, this gewaldige juice, vial, in a lifetime. Bile, in a lifetime. Exactly, bile. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda K'tanila, the sanyo nikva hakeva, nikvu hadakim. So, if it has a little hole in it, it should be number 9. It says over here, nikvu adakim treifa. It says, af nikva amara. Not only if there's a puncture wound in the intestines, even if there's a puncture wound in the gallbladder, it's also a treifa. So we have 9, not 8. Says the Gemara, that's what we're going to learn now. That what? If there's a puncture hole in the gallbladder, it's a treifa. Rabbi Yossi holds that a puncture wound in the gallbladder is no good. Why would you say it is good? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you why they hold that a gallbladder is not a problem. Because it says, Yishpoich la'aretz mirirasi. Eoiv says that my gallbladder, the bile spilled to the floor. V'adayini of kayim. You see, he still lived. So you see, even if a person has bile that oozes out, it's not a treifa. He'll live. Omar lahem ein maskir maisenisim. As the Gemara is going to say in a second, we can actually keep on going. The whole story of Eoiv is the story of a nace that Hakadosh Baruch Hu told the Malach HaMavis not to kill him, even though any one of these wounds would typically kill a regular person. Don't allow him to die, so that I can inflict more and more pain. It says, "Yiflach kil yosai v'lo yachmor." My kidneys will explode, and there's no rachmanas. Mikol Chai, if a person's kidney explodes, he won't live. Elanisa shari, d'chsiv rakis nafshei shemor. So Rashi says over here, beautiful. Hakadosh Baruch Hu tells the Malach HaMavis, rakis nafshei shemor. Make sure that he stays alive. Makois mavis hikeu. He gave him. Each one was a zetz that will kill a person. Hakadosh Baruch Hu said, but even though it's a deathable wound, Mashal what? It's not a word. It's a word, right? In Stanford Hill, they say this. Says the Gemara in Baba Basra, it's harder to be the Malchamavis than Eve himself. Why? You tell somebody, go break this barrel and make sure that the wine stays inside. It's broken. How do you? So he's sitting there, keeping his neshama in this broken body. Bile is pouring out. His kidneys are exploded. Everything's going wrong, and he's making sure that the neshama stays. It's very, very difficult, Nebuch, for the Malchamavis. Oh, so Mamela, the whole thing is a nace. What are you asking me? That if a person has bile that explodes, that he has a puncture in his gallbladder, you could live because you see that Eoiv lived. Over there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, make sure he lives. But a regular person would die. Hachanami. So too with the bile, Nisa Shani. Obviously, we're talking about Nisim here with Eoiv, that he can withstand this, he'll live through it, because the Malcham of us is not taking his neshama out. He's leaving the wine in the broken barrel. Now we're moving on to the liver. The liver, just as a picture, so you know what we're talking about here. I'll show you a different picture. This is the liver, right? With the gallbladder on the side. But the liver, if all this goes missing, and there's one kezayis left over, that's enough to regenerate, or not to be considered a treifa. We know Rabbi Yochanan always says, Allah Kistam Mishnah, again to remind the Olam. When Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi wanted to tell people that this is the halacha like a Shulchan Aruch. There's no names in the Shulchan Aruch. It doesn't say, Rabbi Kiva Omar, do this. The Shulchan Aruch says, this is the halacha. So when Rabbi wanted to say, this is the halacha, he removed all names and said halacha. It's a Stam Mishnah. Tell me, this is the way we pass it. What does it say in our Mishnah? If the entire liver was removed, it says mufurish, nothing, zero was left over, then it's a treifa. So you can infer hanishtayir, if there's even a half a gezayis left over, something kshera, it's going to regenerate. It's good. Avagav have a gezayis, even though it's not a gezayis. Says the Gemara, I want you to pay attention here. What do we have here? Just as a side, we have two things. We have a kezayis, a shir of a kezayis, and what's the other shir we just learned? Even a mashu. Now let's keep on reading. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you out, because I made this mistake. I don't want you to make this mistake. Amaroyininu. You're right. It's actually a machlokes amaroyim. So the first thing that comes to mind, the machlokes amaroyim means a kezayis or a mashu. Va'ali b'der Rabbi Yochanan. And in Rabbi Yochanan they're asking. No, that's not the pshat. That's not the pshat. Rashi says the pshat is, one man is going to say a kezayis, the other man is going to say it's a suffix. Why? Rashi says we have over here two anonymous mishnayos that contradict each other. And maybe I don't know what to do with them. So it's a suffix. Not one holds it's a mashu, one holds a kezayis. One holds a kezayis, and the other one holds it's a suffix. Don't read it by Yosef. Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Mara shenikva. Oh, maybe Omar, not the Omar. Yeah, the Chayra, the Omar. Yeah, because there's a whole new sug here. The Omar. I lost it now. Oh, the Omar Rabbi Yisrael by Yosef, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Mara shenikva v'kavetz tamta kshera. Beautiful. We have two beautiful things here. We have from our artists, they're both great. I'll show both. Well, the artist probably worked a little hard on this, maybe not. This is the gallbladder with a hole in it, and if you flip it over, you have the liver that actually protects it. Now I'm going to show you something even better than that, maybe. Look at that. Do you see the gallbladder over there? Dangling on the right side. That's the gallbladder. And here's Rabbi Avram Weisfish explaining it beautifully with bile oozing out of this. It's gewaldig. That's the gallbladder. It's in Hebrew. That's the bile. If the hole's on top, then it's treif. But if it's inside, and you have the liver pushing against it, now remember, this is not by itself. It's in a body. It's in a cavity. It's pushed. There's all sorts of organs pushing against it. So when you have that pressure of the liver on the back of the bile, so even if there's a hole, that's considered a plugged up hole. And it's good. It's not a treifa. Sheira. Kurkavan is a gizzard. Now, most birds don't have a gizzard, but all kosher birds have a gizzard. Birds don't have teeth. Birds don't have teeth. They eat food, and they swallow it whole. Then they have the gizzard that, that's what it is. Okay, kurkavan. So you have the gizzard that, good, yeah, exactly, pupik. A lot of people eat it. A lot of people don't eat it. And it's like, It's a grinder. It grinds up food. I thought that I think somebody mentioned that the Art Scroll says that only kosher birds have it. In last night's shir, somebody said that. I didn't see inside. So, but I looked up. The owls and eagles also have it. There are a few birds that have it, but mainly all kosher birds have it. Chicken, pigeon, turkey, they all have it. Animals don't have it. Animals, humans don't have a gizzard. It's like one of the. What is it called? No, in the intestines. To digest. It's one of the digestive machines in the bird. Oh, so now here 2 pictures. Let me just show you. Lower the volume, please. No volume at all over here. I cut the picture out. This is the outer layer that is damaged, and this is the inner layer that is damaged. That's all the Gemara is talking about here. And this is through and through. Okay, or they don't line up over here. You see that the outer and the inner, they both have holes, but they're not lined up with each other, and that's the next part of, that's the next case. Zog the Gemara. Another one. What if the outside has a puncture wound, but the inside, such as, here's the outside, just the outside, and here's the inside. Here, this is the inside pocket that is punctured, but the outside, Tashma, Domer of Nachman, Nikav Zeh, Beloy Zeh, Kosher. So let's just do it again because I might have skipped over it. Nikav Kurkavan, that's this picture. The outside, the flesh, the muscle part, has a puncture in it. Vikishaloi Kayam, and the inside pouch is intact. Kosher, that's kosher. Iboilos, they ask the question, what if it's Nikav Akis? What if the opposite happened, that the pouch inside is punctured? Tashma, Domer of Nachman, Nikav Zebel Yizeh, kosher. If it's only one without the other, it is kosher. Omar Rabba. It says Rabba. Shnei Oirois Yesh Loi Leveshet. When we're talking about the esophagus, it's a pipe within a pipe. It's 2 different pipes. Chitzoin Adaim. Upnimi Lavan. Here we have the famous picture that we always use. The outside of it is red, but that's not because it's a outer layer. It's a different pipe, so to speak. If you look over here, you see that white thing, the white membrane inside. That's another pipe. It's made out of completely different material. The outer one is more like a muscle. The inner one is more like a, I don't know how to describe it, like a bag, like a slimy bag. So chitzon adaim upnimi lavan, nikav zeh beloy zeh, kosher. If the hole doesn't go through and through, only there's a puncture wound on the red, not the white, it's kosher. Says Gemara, obviously you're trying to tell me something here by telling me the colors. The chalif treifa, that if the inside, mainly the inside, turns red, or even the outside turns white, but the Rishonim say it doesn't really happen that the outside could turn white. Red usually doesn't turn white. White could turn red. So if you see something like that, immediately you should know it's a treifa. Here we have it. Here we go. Something like this. You see how the holes do not line up. So so it's good in a way. The food is not going to fall outside of the veshet, so maybe it's okay. Beveshet kosher. In this picture right over here, the esophagus, this is kosher. Bekurkav apostle, but when it comes to the gizzard, to the pupik, it's possible. Why? Because the food collects there. It's not like esophagus that the food keeps on moving down. It sits there, and once it sits there, what's going to happen? Food is going to seep out of one hole and eventually make its way to the other hole. Mamish the opposite of what you're saying. The esophagus, the eating tube, is something that you eat with and you make sounds with. Says Rashi, everybody knows you don't make sounds out of the esophagus. You make sounds with the trachea. So Rashi explains that you're right, the sound comes out of the trachea, but it's right there next to it, and it affects the esophagus. They move in conjunction. Whoever's at the shechita knows. That's why the bottom of the trachea is soft, like muscular, and the esophagus moves into it when it has a lot of food. It has room to go into the trachea. It's a whole, they work together. So Meila, Rav Arbe, it expands. Gemadele, it shrinks. So Pashale, and then it expands again. Bekitzer, Zimnin, Dimahanzin Bahade Adadi. It's very possible physically. Here, look at this. You even have a beautiful. Look at this. No, I mean, you're missing the whole. When you have holes that are not lined up because the esophagus is constantly moving because there's food in it, so once in a while you could have a situation where the holes do line up because it's moving, it's expanding, it's constricting up. So you have a situation where maybe they'll line up. Oh, maybe they'll line up is a problem. But the gizzard that doesn't move, who says that it's ever going to line up? And why is that a problem? You're right, your svara is right. This expands, this doesn't expand. The one that expands and keeps on moving around, the holes can line up. Something that doesn't move, the holes l'chayr wouldn't line up, and it's not a problem by a kurkavan, it's a problem by the veshet. Bamarabba, krum sha'ala machmas mako beveshet. I don't know how to say it. Geled, like when you have a wound, like the blood, a scab. So let's say there's a scab on the esophagus. Einay krum. That's not a healing. What we had, if you have a hole in what was it? The spleen? No. What do you call it? The gallbladder. You have a hole in the gallbladder and it's covered. It's pressure from the liver. Good. But a scab that doesn't do the job. It's as if it has a hole in the veshet. In a krum, we know that a mashu in the veshet, even a small little puncture, is a treifa. Bamarabba veshet einlo b'diko mibachutz elo b'mifnim. Once you shech the animal, you're going to go in and take a look at the esophagus to see if there's a hole or not. You can't see from the outside of the esophagus. You got to look into the esophagus. You got to flip it inside out. When would you have a shaila? They'd have to do that. L'safik drusa, for this animal that we don't know if it was attacked by a wolf, by a lion. So you have to check the inside. You have to check the trachea and the esophagus. How? By looking inside. We'll see soon in a second a maisa shahaya. Oh, I wanted to use this. Here we go. This is gevaldik. So this chicken, this is all ours, new, brand new. Zepek. The food goes into the zepek, and from there it goes into the kurkavan. You can see mamish. Oh, that's what there's rocks in there. I think now I remember they bedafke eat a rock or something, a bunch of rocks, so that helps grind. They eat it, and the food gets. The rocks help it out. That's why I think there's rocks here. I think, if I'm not, that's from last time. That's the The Pidalim knows this. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Oh, so here, like this is a good picture to show. You want to see whether or not there's red on the white, then you'll know that it was attacked by a chaya. Zog the Gemara. Ahi safik druso adasoy lekamid Rabba. Rabba was asked to take a look at an animal that might have been attacked by a wild animal like a wolf. So he checked the outer part, the red part. I don't understand. You taught us. You have to check the inside. He turned it inside out. He found two dots like this. And he said, oh, strafe. So what's pshat? Rabbanami, a lot of times the Magachir pretends that he messes up. He says deathable or whatever it is. He gets the oilam. Riled up. He'll make a mistake. He'll skip a line or two. Why? Not because he knows where the line is. He wants the oilam to Rabbi also. He was watching Abaye. He wanted to see if Abaye would speak up. Rabbi wanted to see if Abaye is sharp. If a thorn got stuck inside the esophagus. Now, Yoshav means it's sitting. Sitting means it's embedded. I thought there's a better word than embedded. Okay, embedded. We'll use the word embedded. Here we go. Takua. Like that. You saw that?
Yeah.
Now, if you look on the outside, you don't see any. There's no sign of damage from the outside. We said that if it doesn't penetrate through and through, then it's okay. Do we have to be concerned that perhaps it penetrated through and through, and it was a treifa? Even a small little hole from a thorn will render it treifa. Or if you don't see a hole, you don't see a hole. It penetrated half, and that's it. We're not concerned. Says the Gemara, I'm going to ask you 4 questions here on this. First of all, on the first line of the psalm, it says, you said if you don't even know if this mongoose attacked the chicken. You don't know. You saw it. So for that, you have to open it up and check everything. So you see that you do have to check. So why over here you're so sure that this thorn didn't go through and through? It's not true. If a mongoose went into a chicken pen over there, we're not going to tell him to check all the. We're not worried about it. It's not a problem. You can eat them all. If somebody's wife serves him 2 pieces of fat and he eats one, and then we find out that one of the 2 is chaylev, what do? You bring something called the asham tali. You bring an asham, because I don't know what to do, so it hangs until I find out what exactly happened. Until that point that I find out, this should be my kapara. But I don't know for sure that I ate chaylev. It's only suffix. Over here also, I don't know. Maybe the thorn went through and through. Says Gemara, what's the connection? Hasam is chazik isura. Over there, one of the pieces was 100% fat. Chaylev that's also for you to eat. Now, maybe you ate it, maybe you didn't. But it's there. Over here, what gives you the reason to think that the thorn went through and through? We don't have a reason to think that. You shecht with a knife. Before you shecht it, everything is great. And all of a sudden you find out that the knife had a b'gima, had a little nick in it. And we say what? It's aser. But before the shechita, we didn't have a reason to believe it. Says Gemara, over there we have good reason to believe that this animal is no good because we have a bad knife. Over here we have no reason to believe that the thorn went through and through. The Sfeik we know that when we're talking about a private domain, so anytime you have a suffix in the tumah, we say it's tamei. Says Gemara, okay, you went that direction. I'm going to go the other direction. So we have 2 ways to go. I should go to the suffix tumah b'shus hayachid. Maybe I'll go to the suffix tumah b'shus ram. Over there it's tar. What's the reason why we're makbid on in the b'shus hayachid? Here's the famous saita. We're not going to go into it, but here, as I talk, the husband tells the wife not to be misyachid with another man. She doesn't listen. She's misyachid. Yichud happens in a private place, private domain. So from there we learn that suffix tumah is b'shus hayachid is tamei. Special halach over there. It's not pshat that the thorn is stuck in the esophagus. It's laying nicely. So you open up the animal after, like Noam noticed yesterday in the base of Kaises, we saw some food in there. Okay, so there's food sitting there. There's a thorn sitting there. Even in such a situation where it's not punctured, it's still. That's why it's okay, because it's not punctured. But if it's punctured even halfway through, then I have to be concerned that it's no good. Don't listen to him. It says mafurish that it's sitting embedded inside the esophagus. But if it was just found there, what's the problem? We know that every normal animal eats thorns. Turbet Saveshet is the last part, the end of the esophagus. We're already an hour in. Wow. This is all the way. Should we leave this from? No, we can't leave this from Motzei Shabbos. So we'll do 5-6 lines there. Turbet Saveshet. Rav Omar b'mashu. So it's the end of the esophagus. In other words, the part that connects to the mouth. When you chew food, it goes into the food pipe. The beginning part. Is that a place that you could shecht? And if it is, then what's the shear of a puncture, even a mashu? If it's not a place you could shecht, then it's not a mashu. The treifa is not a mashu. It's more. That's what the Gemara understands today. Tomorrow we'll see something else. Rav Omer mashu. If there's a small needle hole in that turbas haveshet, the upper part of the esophagus, treif. Ushmul amar berubai. You need a roiv. Rav amar mashu malkim shchitu. It's where you could check. It's where you could check. This is all part of the esophagus, so it's b'mashu. Shmul amar berubai. It's interesting. If you could check there, so hagrama, what does hagrama mean? I got to show you this knife. Where's my knife? Oh, hagrama means that if you shecht past, this is the beginning of the trachea, this is the end. So anything past this part, if you shecht right over here, you're not shechting. You're already in the mouth. Over here, you're already in the lungs. You're already in the stomach, if you're talking about the esophagus. So he's going to hold, there's no hagrama on an esophagus. You're already at the end. There's no, yeah. The hagrama would be only in the kana. I'll call upon him. Why? Why do you say you need roiv, not a puncture? Lav makim shchitu. It's not part of it. It's like a regular pipe in the body. It's not a mashu. Hi ninu turbis habeshet. Where is this? When this happens, right over here, you see, it expands. That's turbas haveshet. But when you cut it and it's nice, as is, that's the actual veshet. That's where you do shchita. Our master didn't say this. Who's our master? Of Bibi Barabaya. Ella, what is it? If it's like this part right over here, that's the turbas haveshet. What's the veshet? When it shrivels like this, you see? There's a shriveling and not shriveling. The shriveling, that's the veshet. Yoina says in the name of Zera, Mevlata. From where you swallow, that's where the turbas haveshet is. Where it meets the part of the mouth that you swallow from. Vikama, how wide is it? Less than a barley. But more than a kernel of wheat. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day, a good Shabbos.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.